Consider these your only warnings. We're going to use foul language. There will be spoilers, and we're going to use foul language.
All right, so did we decide? What are we doing this episode?
I think we landed on Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak, good. The one I didn't watch in years. I've watched it before.
Yeah.
I got one scene. I hope you guys don't take it from me.
I started watching a different movie first. It was called Dante's Widow Peak, and it was actually about the hairline of a mountain.
What?
Of a
Mountain? It was a mountain's hairline movie.
A
It was really
mountain.
weird. Yeah. Can you not hear me?
It sounded like you're a mountain.
Am I
Mountain?
wrong?
He's like trailing off a mountain.
So that's not the movie that we're supposed to watch.
I
Okay, I
figured
didn't
it
know
out.
if you got there.
I did.
Didn't know if you just committed because your pride.
I did. And then I watched the one I was supposed to.
Oh, okay, great.
Dante's Peak, where James Bond tries to convince a town they're going to explode.
Yeah.
And no one wants to listen.
I felt like I actually kind of felt like Dante's Peak was like a movie about parenting. And I just felt like really mad at the kids the entire movie. And I just felt like
Those kids were the worst.
yeah, we could have avoided this whole movie if people just hit their kids.
I mean,
more
not the whole
97,
movie, just
97,
like just like maybe the last act of the movie.
Yeah.
It would have just wrapped up in Act 2.
Could you imagine if they hit the kids and then the volcano just went back to being normal? And the kids were really the problem in the end?
So you think the kids are what brought on the volcano?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the more out of control they got, the more the volcano erupted.
What just happened?
My phone
Oh my
almost fell.
god. I thought you got aroused. You were like, oh!
Oh, shit.
Done. That's a kind of whole different movie there,
Jeepers.
Dan.
Well, Norm started talking about hitting and getting out of control, and
I
naturally.
was like, look at his volcano.
But yeah, but
Kamehameha.
that was definitely one of the parts of the movie that made me the most annoyed and the most angry.
We're going to go save Grandma.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh,
Like,
man.
Grandma wanted to die.
Grandma
she doesn't
wanted to
like
die on
you.
her mountain.
Grandma was a volcano denier. She's a denier. She's a volcano denier. She's like, after Mount St. Helens in the 80s. And he's like, this is science. And she's like, fuck your science. I live in a cabin.
I'm a volcanologist, yet you live in a cabin. Take your pick. You decided to die.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was actually about the Americans, aka the grandmother,
Yeah.
rebelling against Britain, aka James Bond.
Was he? He's just like, he doesn't even come off as like super British though. Even though he has that tinge of an accent.
It's like he's from Sussex.
Yeah.
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 He didn't have one gadget the entire movie.
Well, he did. He had those seismographers.
Well, actually, the
Yeah,
one.
that's a real step up from the car that shoots rockets.
He had a truck with a snorkel. He drove through underwater.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Well, this truck.
I
can
forgot.
drive- don't worry, this car has a snorkel.
He drove
engine.
through a river.
Yeah.
And other people were like, "Oh, I can do that too." And they,
That's right. I
died.
do remember the snorkel. It was very nice.
Like,
yeah, that was some Q shit right there.
how bad was that woman at parenting that when the volcano started going off, the kids were like, "We need to steal a fucking car and get grandma."
I think ever since that her first son was killed by a Terminator,
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll cause.
she just didn't care for the rest of them.
Yeah, that's fair. And she opened up a coffee shop. She decided, fuck it, coffee shop is the answer to my problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
Coffee shop at the bottom of an
Yeah.
exploding mountain.
The Decepticons can't find me here.
Yeah, nothing makes me want to open a small town coffee shop like having a robot come back from the future and try to kill my children. You know? Yeah, I think that's actually what pushes most people to opening up a coffee shop.
It's actually how brewers are starting.
I was also gonna say maybe we should talk to the owners of Brock Street Espresso. Maybe they have some time traveling, child murder ambitions or motivations. In their life.
Possibly, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a good turn.
Next movie.
I absolutely hated the grandmother so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so this movie came out in 1997, so I guess I'll say spoiler alert, but also fuck you if you haven't seen it since then. Yeah, the way the grandma dies is so infuriating and so pointless to me.
See, I was annoyed by a completely different reason why she died. Because I'm sorry, I don't think even how acidic that water is, it's not going to go through that aluminum boat that fast.
Right, so let's backtrack for a second for anybody who hasn't seen a fucking 22-year-old movie. So when they get into the lake to try to escape the lava flow, which by the way, magically fucking like Kool-Aid Man's its way right through the cabin
God,
out
that
of
was the
fucking
best.
nowhere. Everybody just assumes there's not that much going on, and all of a sudden the lava comes right through the fucking
It's
wall of
like,
the cabin, right? But the lake becomes acidic, and they get through like 75% of the lake. No problem. Everything's bueno. They're like, it's fine. The boat's not sinking. We're just gonna hold the children. We'll get there. And then in the last last 15% of the lake, Pierce Brosnan puts a fucking shirt around his hand and uses his hand like a paddle. Tell me how his arm didn't just dissolve.
It's fine.
Right, yeah, it's Pierce. Sorry, we should know that by now.
It was a gadget. The shirt was a gadget.
Right, but it's the last 10 seconds when the grandmother hops out of the fucking boat and she's just like, you know what? I've been an asshole this entire time. This is my moment.
Far cries it across the.
She just kept being an asshole, though. If she
You think she
wanted
died to spite them?
If she wanted to make up for it, she would have like, no, I'm fine, and
Right,
just like swim
right.
off. But no, she let Pierce carry him.
Right.
She was so upsetting.
But yeah, that was pretty irritating that they spent all that time. They wasted like an entire night on her dying, by the way. Like she died the next day. So that volcano was like, I'm just gonna let her have her fucking moment. And then I'm gonna keep
Die in peace.
trying to kill everybody. So I don't know what the fuck that was about.
It's like,
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah, exactly. That was pretty, and like the lead up to it was like the strangest little things. Like they couldn't have undersold that the volcano was gonna go off more, even though obviously we know what's gonna fucking happen. At one point, they when they're going up the mountain for the first time to investigate like what's happening, the grandmother like randomly remarks on how there's been a dead squirrel epidemic on the mountain, and you're like, what the fuck? How would you know that? How would you possibly know that off of 2 dead squirrels?
She
I
hunts
saw
squirrels.
14 on the way here.
She survives.
All dead.
She has to survive up there. She obviously doesn't want to go to town because, that's a problem. So she hunts my theory is that she hunts squirrels and now her food source is gone. So the dead squirrel epidemic is either her, which she's not hunting them because they're already dead, or she saw 2 and now that's just an epidemic.
Oh my god, yeah. So that just made me fucking mental. All the time spent on the grandma for like just no fucking reason. And I don't know about you guys, but I really like the way that the mountain was just crudely edited into a lot of scenes without any like respect for scale or like matching the scene at all. Every once in a while, the camera would pan and it would like go over a hill and the mountain would be like enormous, and then the next scene it would be like fucking 100 miles away. And it's just like randomly pops up in every other scene.
Or the foreshadowing of the random mine, and somehow a mountain that has a mine in it is not going to fill with lava.
Yeah. And like what a 90s
It
mom
was a
move.
lead line shaft.
Right?
It was a lead mine, wasn't it?
That scene was so random too. That was just blatantly for storytelling purposes. Because like she just randomly pulls up and she's like railing on on her son just for like being out with his friends in a mine.
Well, because he's
It's
always
like,
apparently hanging out in the mine.
yeah, that's what 90s kids in movies are always hanging out in dangerous places for
Because
no reason.
a closed mine is my first choice as a kid to go hide out in a friggin' mine shaft. Like I get cool dark place and scary, but fuck, I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna hide in a goddamn mountain shaft.
Yeah, there's some.
And and he also had it like decked out with like He had it like safety. He had the full safety box down there too. He had flashlights. He had food. He had magazines because they're all over the wall.
Oh, I know what that was for.
But it's like he had all this stuff prepared for this whole event, so he was obviously planning. Conspiracy.
I think.
He knew. The kid knew, but
He
wanted.
put the acid in the water.
That's it.
I think one of the things I liked about the movie too was that they sold it. They sold it as the town was the second most ideal place to live in America. It was
the
like the
first.
town was already fucked from the time the movie started, and they're like this whole backdrop is that there's like the investors gonna invest in the town, and they don't want to like they want to postpone this like the public like alarm over the volcano as long as possible.
Because tourism.
But it's hilarious how like they just like rather have everybody in the town die than like cause like a slight alarm.
They say it's like there's 7,000 people in this town, and he's basically like, you need to put on notice that we might need to. Oh my God, there's 7,000 people in this town. I'm pretty sure most factories, like big factories, have 7,000 employees. To evacuate 7,000 employees or people out of that town, I can't say it taken more than a few hours because it didn't seem to take that long in the fucking movie.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but the only way out fell.
At the
The whole fucking overpass just.
Yeah, it's so fast. That got out of control so quickly.
It's like what my other thing is, if you have a town that has one entry point, like one road into town, build a second
Where does it go?
beside it.
I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Just build a road.
Just build a second one.
Like that, just right beside it.
Yeah.
Like 2.
Yeah.
Put 'em-
Dude,
put 2
double
in.
it up
Yeah.
because if you have one road into town, your town's gonna die. That's movie logic.
I love that
I put
response. though.
Prince Edward Island on notice.
They have 2 routes out. They're one bridge, but they have boats. They have
Nope.
ferries.
One bridge.
They have one bridge, but they have boats. And everyone in that island owns a boat and potatoes. And they can make a boat out of potatoes.
No,
You can make a potato out of a boat. You got it backwards.
this is the part of our
yeah.
story where we fall off the rails.
We started there. case you didn't notice.
No.
Did anybody bring the scotch?
We should have brought scotch.
Did anybody else notice how weird like the on-screen chemistry was with the two main
I
characters?
mean, the lack of.
Yeah, well, just it's like the one scene that they actually have where anything happens. Pierce Brosnan like insults her coffee and then
Yep.
tells her that getting laid is like riding a bike and that you'll never forget how you do it. And then like
Wow.
yeah,
Well, he's following true geologist form. I've never met a single geologist. Well, I've never met a geologist, but I would assume that every geologist has no game.
Right.
So he's following that like theory because geology is the most boring of sciences and very much disrespected because they handle big rocks all day. Yeah, he had no form, no play at all.
even at
Terrible
the
backswing.
yeah. Even at the end of the fucking movie, there's no completion of any character
You're
arc.
alive.
Yeah,
Somehow you survived a car being crushed in a mine.
Yeah.
And your 28 gauge metal steel roof somehow survived and you did not get crushed because you needed to go hit the button.
and I'm pretty sure in 1997, Pierce was like fresh off of becoming James Bond.
Oh,
like he
probably.
had just done.
When did GoldenEye
Yeah, he
come out?
just did GoldenEye that
Okay.
year, I think. So I think he was like fresh off of being Bond right away. And it's like they found so many, So they found so many weird reasons to like pepper in scenes where he would do something like unnecessarily dangerous or like just really stupid. Like
And it was also in that
Yeah,
territory
like the snorkel.
when they also had the territory when they had double disaster movies every time.
Right.
So there was also, I think it was Volcano was the other one that came out at almost the
with
exact
Tommy
same
Lee
time.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was they kind of like had to one up
Right.
each other.
Right.
So it had to be uber dangerous.
Oh, kind of like how there was Armageddon and
And
Deep
Deep
Impact
Impact.
at the same time. There's like a 90s shitty movie arms race happening.
There's also a third one that did that too.
Yeah.
But it's that was like, okay, so we're gonna get Armageddon and Deep Impact because they're both be like romances or love stories, and then Dante's Peak and Volcano. Volcano, I don't even remember, but I remember Dante's Peak coming out and being like, oh, this is gonna be an amazing movie.
I remember one
doesn't hold
scene
up.
from Volcano. We're getting off topic here.
Okay.
Where, for whatever reason, they want to stop the lava flow, and the way they do it is they shoot some bus tire. Like they shoot
Yeah.
the tires of a bus, and then the people push the bus over.
Right.
Because the one deflated side made it
Right.
possible.
Right. There's a lot of problems with that movie. We'll watch that some other time.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Right. But on the you do your thing.
You do your thing.
But they had more tires. He drove over the fucking lava with tires, the rubber tires.
Oh, I was just gonna bring that up. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fine. Like the lava was like hot and splashing.
Yeah.
But it was like slowly melting this rubber.
There were a lot of very bad
Michelin radials.
vehicle-related choices in this movie.
That's what I call
Can we talk
vulcanized
about
rubber.
Can we talk about the two worst choices of vehicle operation in the three of vehicle operation in the movie? One, let's start with the fucking helicopter.
Yes.
Let's talk about the fucking helicopter for just a second. Because that helicopter got in the air for like 0.3 seconds before it came tumbling down toward the only fucking car on the mountain in like 2 seconds, like 2 seconds flat.
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
the carbon.
Yeah. Well, I
He's
was the ash?
For the ash.
but it's like, what the fuck? What were they fucking thinking?
Because the guy was getting
He's making
$50,000
bank, man.
ahead.
So here's $1,000.
Yeah.
was
Okay. That was the
15,000.
full character arc. Was the guy who wanted to negotiate his wage for operating the helicopter during a rescue mission. Yeah, of course. Okay, that makes more sense now. But the next one that pissed me off the most was when they're evacuating the town and like the seismologist like manager, the authority, decides to take the fucking like rape van over getting in the Humvees. And I'm like, dude, like there's no road. Like you can't drive that normally anytime.
To follow that up, he like also rear-ended one of the
Oh,
Humvees.
yeah, right, drove
Which
right into
stopped
the-
his momentum.
Right.
And then he's like, oh,
Yeah.
we can't go anymore.
Yeah.
And then, well, he kept squealing the tires. My
Yeah.
thought is, my tire's squealing and this rushing, raging river. I'm gonna get the fuck out of the car and try to Superman over the goddamn gap because there's no way in hell you're gonna get that lumbering beast across.
I just thought that was insane. Like, I just thought it was so pointless. They spent so much time developing his character. You would have thought they would have redeemed his character or made him a bigger asshole.
I just want you to know, for whatever it's worth, you were right.
That's his moment. Yeah, that was his moment. Well, the last thing I wanted to even talk about the movie was the way that Pierce tries to make the kids feel safe by telling them he's going to take them fishing.
Deep sea fishing.
Deep sea fishing.
Yes.
And right after he leaves them in like the mine, he's like, I'm gonna take you deep sea fishing. It's gonna be great. As soon as we get out of here, it's gonna be the best.
We're gonna isolate ourselves somewhere else.
We're gonna get all the most delicious foods. I think that's a direct quote. We're gonna get all the most delicious foods and go deep sea fishing. We're gonna find a tasty fish.
Is it to get as far away from the mountains as possible so
I
they
don't
can
know.
survive?
I don't know.
Just so we don't leave a cliffhanger, what was your third driving problem?
It was operating the fucking mechanical, like the 8-legged thing.
Thank you.
That they put in the mountain. How did that even get there? Is my question. Because that thing looks like it's a dishwasher.
Yeah, with like spider legs.
Some sort of I don't know.
My entire time. So that's the exact same
And
thing.
NASA assisted with it.
Well, 'cause
Oh, is
ELF.
that the robot that goes down into the
Yeah,
volcano?
the volcano.
Itself?
Yeah.
That's because the ELF, the extra low frequency GPS
Okay.
thing.
I love they fucking call it extra low. NASA would never call something extra anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there is actually the ELF is actually an actual thing. Like it's called extra low frequency. I think that's actually a thing.
I don't know.
Well, it didn't lend itself very
Anyway,
well
in
to
the
being
movie.
a high-tech device.
Yeah. So they go, okay, I'm gonna kick it and it's gonna work better.
Right.
I'm sorry, if you're on the ground in a mechanical setting when you're doing, I would assume this is not a prototype, or if it is a prototype, you're not gonna kick the ever-living shit out of it and put it into a place that, oh, well, you know, there's gonna be a chance that it could fail, and then lift it to the top of a goddamn mountain and have it walk damn near vertical down the grade, and then when it stops, because, it did, instead of just leaving it there to die and be destroyed, like what you would do in a mechanical thing that you can't rescue back because it's a mechanical object and you can rebuild.
Right.
He decides to do like some sort of stupid cliffhanger shit, take
going
off the
off
rope.
harness.
I'm going off harness when he still had 40 feet of line up of the game.
I can just picture like everybody who might be in his like health and safety committee at work. It's like, are you what?
Yeah.
What did he just say?
Everybody in that room looked at each other like that's a bad idea. They all did like the fucking Houston
Like, did you hear that, asshole?
mission control center moment where I looked at each other like that's good, that's bad. Yeah.
You can almost picture the safety advisor with the stogie in the back going, oh fuck, here we go, paperwork again.
I think in relation to the whole kicking thing too.
Beep. Janice, bring the paperwork up to the top floor. Not all of it.
We
I
lost
think-
another one.
I think they missed a moment with the guy who kicked stuff to make it work. It would have been really funny if in that moment he kicked the mountain and it just exploded and killed all the main characters. That would have been a better way
Even if
to.
that was just like a flash that somebody was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
And they could have cut off
What did I just see?
hour from that movie. That would have been a better way to do it, I think.
I think it's just been better. The better way that movie could have been started.
Yeah.
And ended with Pierce Brosnan go, yep, volcanoes gonna explode. Get the fuck out of town. Done.
Right. Yeah.
5 minutes. Wouldn't even be a movie. We didn't have to watch it.
Let's reshoot it right now.
All right, Ryan, I need you to get on the table with downward dog. I'll see myself out.
By the way, we're looking for a space. If anybody's got one.
And like not a creepy space.
Or your bathroom, unless your bathroom is very well acousticized.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, have you not familiar with that expression?
I don't think so.
Are you putting up the like soundproofing in your bathroom? Does that affect the airflow?
It hangs onto the flavor a little longer.
See, it's under the flavor of the law? Is that what you just said?
It is now. Halt! You're under the flavor of the law.
It's like, it's not quite the law. It's just like,
I said it holds onto the
Law-esque?
flavor a little longer, but I like what you said better.
Like
A
the
lot
flavor
better.
saver.
all right.
The only reason to acousticize your bathroom would probably be so that the sounds bounce around just long enough for you to hear the voices of all the fucking people trapped in your asshole.
I'm actually trying to deaden it.
Yeah. It's like you're like what's that guy's name from Mortal Kombat? You're like Shang Tsung, where you just trap people's souls in your butthole.
Kind of. It's like if you match that with Scorpion,
Right.
Oh God.
and the thing that comes out is a prolapse.
Oh my